Affairs analyst Dr. Ojon and President Yewaweri Youth Council Abayami Oke Ashiwaju. Yeah.
Yes.
Good morning, gentlemen.
Good morning.
Thank you for joining us on TVC Breakfast.
It's a pleasure to be here.
Right. Let's begin with your reaction to this ban by the government, because several international reactions have been coming in. Everyone has been speaking about this move by the federal government. But let's feel your pulse. Let me begin with you, Dr.
Okay, I'm not going to speak for or against this morning. I just want us to bring some of the issues out and leave the people to decide. And the first question I am going to ask is, does the government actually have the power to suspend Twitter? And the answer to that has been yes, by everyone. The government has the power. Now, what is causing the issue is the fear that if government could ban Twitter, that the other sensitive, pleasurable aspect of human lives may actually be affected in the future. People, majority of people, may not be speaking against the government because of the ban on Twitter. They may actually be speaking against the government because they are afraid that, okay, if the government can actually ban Twitter, that it could go and ban any other thing that has direct effect.
Speaking against the government or speaking against government's action?
Of course, you may not be able to separate the two, because it's like when you talk about government policy, you talk about administration. In Nigeria, it's so popular. When this administration does something, they said President Muhammadu Buhari government. So any policy that actually emanates from the government, if you criticize the government or you criticize the policy, it's still going to bring out the same result. So for me, I think the ban on Twitter is actually the least of our problem in Nigeria today. It should not have generated what it generated, if not the fear of the fact that, number one, a whole lot of people do not trust the government. They are afraid that this may actually extend to other areas of life. Let me make the data very clear. About 33 million active social media users in Nigeria. From this number, only, I tell you, less than or about 1% of them are those people that are making a living on the social media. A number of people go there for pleasure. And in fact, social media has become a distraction of destiny, to a point that I am afraid for the generation that is coming.
A distraction?
I tell you, a distraction. A major distraction. Because social media basically has two effects if you want your nation to move forward. The first is the effect of business. The effect on business. We are getting it right when it comes to that. A certain percentage of people are taking advantage of the social media to leverage on the growth of their business, to develop their business. For that, fantastic. The other aspect of it is to affect the direction and the policy of government. And affecting the direction of policy of government in Nigeria, a lot of people do not understand how. We have come to understand in Nigeria, peculiarly, that I've spent 4 years of my life to study politics and governance in Nigeria. We have come to discover that the first thing that affects the policy of government in Nigeria is the personal principle of the men in power. If you do not do anything about the personal principle of the men in power, if you vote them into office, you may not be able to do anything about their policy. Once you are not able to do something about their policy, it affects their program, it affects their project. So at the end of the day, you either derive prosperity from their project or poverty, depending on the personal principle of the man in power. Social media has not been able to, forget about what people say.
It has not been able to.
It has not been able to correctly decide the governance direction in Nigeria. It's beyond making us see. The percentage,
it hasn't?
It has not. You can tell me how it has, if it has. It has not.
Really?
The majority of people that are saying, oh, this is how I want my nation to be governed. The basic tool of change that is required for any serious citizen, they do not have. Majority of them don't even have voters card. Majority of them don't come out on the day of election. It is, we naturally just press a pause in our brain on the day of election. We only press a reset after we might have elected the wrong people.
Let me get Abayami's reaction to all that Dr. has just said.
Oh,
because I'm wondering, he's saying that it hasn't made as much impact, especially when it comes to governance, if I may use that word. And the reaction, we see that a lot of persons are not even part of the process. They come on Twitter to speak, yes, but they are not part of the process. And that Twitter has just two, perhaps, functions. Nature, or one has to do with, fine, a lot of people come here to get their livelihoods and all of it, but we have seen much more than that. We have seen people who were seemingly saved from security challenges as a result of coming out to scream on Twitter. We have seen people helped, donations and all of it on Twitter. We have seen some persons, when it comes to issues bordering on education.
You are probably speaking my mind now, Veronica.
Okay, so let's just allow you to speak then.
Okay. You see, well done, Dotun, for your submission so far. Let's take it back. Let's go back to where we're coming from. There was a time that our only source of information in this country was primarily the newspapers and the traditional media houses.
Absolutely.
It's until 4 p.m. in the afternoon that you get to watch TV, and breaking news will not come until the following day on the pages of the newspapers. But the time now came that we can access information, you know, real time. We can even push out information out there. Before you can say you want to push some information or news out there, you have to pay the traditional media houses. But as we speak today, through my phone, I can reach out. Even the traditional media houses are even requesting for citizens to provide news content via the same social media. This is one of the things that social media has done for us in the world, not just in Nigeria. Now, as social media successfully shaping the policies, the answer is yes. The answer is no.
Right.
Now, yes, in the sense that we have seen so many occasions where our outcry on the social media is what they listen to, and it has shaped the policies of government.
Can you give instances, because Dotun here needs to understand that.
Okay. There was an increase. I think is it bank charges issue?
Yeah.
We've had issues with bank charges issues. We've had our legislators. In fact, let me bring it down to my state, Ogun State. When the schools resumed COVID-19, they said students should go and do tests before they resume to school. Now, we had the news that when they got to the public hospitals, they said they should come and pay 25,000 naira. It was over the weekend, Saturday. It was through the same social media, Twitter, Facebook, WhatsApp messages, that the governor got to know. And on Sunday, he said they should stop the collection of 25,000 naira for COVID-19 tests. Normally, if it were to be in the past, we would have waited till Monday, write a letter.
Some people would have paid.
Some people would have, of course, a lot of people would have paid. But he swiftly responded based on what he saw on Twitter, on Facebook, on WhatsApp message. In fact, he responded via the same mode. When we were also protesting then in Ogun State, in part of Ogun State, Ota to be precise, fixed Ota roads, the governor responded because we tweeted at him on social media. We could not go to Abeokuta. We tweeted, and the man responded via that same Twitter, via Facebook. He said, "I've heard you loud and clear." So are you now saying that they are not responding to our outcry based on via this platform? No. But of course, like he said, I think we have also maximized further the use of this social media in terms of mobilizing, in terms of sensitizing people to cast their vote, because we still believe that the legitimate way of dethroning a bad government is through elections in a democratically.
But that's not the issue here.
But that's not the issue here. Right. At least we can actually use that social media to mobilize people. But of course, people don't usually do that on election day. You see them stay back at home and then not maximize their voters card and all that. In fact, a lot of people will even get the voters card that will not. But I am saying my own issue here is, number one, the timing is wrong. Government or federal government, presidency or the president now, is trying to say that it's not because Twitter deleted the message. Yoruba
National security is the focus.
You know, see, Yoruba will say, you know, the witch died. The witch confessed yesterday, and a child died today. You can't separate it
from.
Yes, you banned. Twitter deleted your message today. The following, how many days later, you deleted you banned Twitter in your country, and you're now saying, okay, it's not because it's not a reaction based on the immediate thing that Twitter did to you, but it's because of accumulated issues that you have with Twitter. The same Twitter that our president used well, though maybe I should say that his handlers use well, because I can bet you it is not President Buhari that is handling his Twitter,
his handlers.
And his handlers are doing it. And that's why it's quite unfortunate that the young folks, our age mates, Dotto and I, that we're in the same age bracket, they are the ones doing this. They are the ones advising this old man. In fact, I can bet it that they are the ones who actually did this, probably just by a nod from the president. That, sir, can we go ahead? And the man will say yes. Because, of course, President Buhari does not know who Jack is, let alone know about Twitter.
We can't really conclude that he doesn't know who Jack is.
Oh, okay.
We can't say that.
I agree.
Dotun, you have heard what Abayomi has said. It has shaped in some way some of the policies, I mean, from the examples he has given. Yes, we need to capitalize. Yes, Twitter is banned for now, but we have other platforms that we can capitalize on to bring about the necessary change that you are looking for. But when you look at this closely and you look at the perception that a lot of persons are having, saying it is an infringement on the rights of Nigerians, because this issue is between, say, the president and Twitter itself, and it is not about the whole of Nigerians. We are trying to, manage, issues that come on social media. Is a total blanket ban really the solution to this issue of national security? Is it a quick fix for it? If you are saying that it's because of this thing, is this now the quick fix to ensuring that the nation is secured? Because after this ban, we have seen reports.
I think we need to be very clear on some issues, and I am not here to talk emotions. I am here to give you.
It is not emotion.
I am here to give you facts as I have interacted with people. Now you get out of your studio here, get to the next street, go to 12 households, pick the phone of young boys and girls that I work with. I have an organization, Young Lead, that work directly with young people that I work with. Check the phone and decide for yourself whether those people have been able to maximize the use of this social media. But let's just leave it at that. You see, I said something and you didn't pay attention to it.
You think
I said that the ban on Twitter should not even come to our front page. If anybody is talking about violation today, the ban on Twitter is the least of Nigerian problem.
Right.
As we speak now, it is difficult. I got robbed by 4 p.m. on my way home one day. Thank God I had a security person with me. These are some of the violations that we've had over time. Right. My concern is this, that most of the times we leave the most important aspect of our life, which are everywhere. I'm not talking for the government, but I'm just saying that, see, come to think about it. From the 33 million, perhaps 25% of them are on Twitter. Majority of these people are even on Facebook. Majority of people that are even coming to talk about Twitter, majority of them are not there. So what I'm saying in essence is that as a people, we must understand that there are major issues to expend our energies on. Not on the issue that federal government is banning. And I said it again and again, that majority of people that are coming out to say, oh, we don't want Twitter banned, they are not talking because of Twitter. They are talking because they are afraid that if they do not talk now, that perhaps that may embolden the government to take another decision that will actually affect their pleasurable life. Now come to think of it, this is the generation we are in. If we continue like this, we are in a doom. It's a generation where you wheel somebody into the hospital. Practical. eyewitness. You with somebody to the hospital, is telling the nurse, I do not want to be admitted there. I don't want to take this bed. And the nurse changed her bed to another bed. We only discover that she chose that bed because it was very close to a socket, so that she can plug her phone. I'm telling you the reality of the vanity we are in 21st century, and a lot of people don't pay attention to it. Now they will her to that place. She plugged her phone so that she can continue. She was on hospital bed. We are in a generation where ordinary data is faster than drug. This is the generation. You see, there was a philosopher that said something, and this is my fear for Nigeria. I may sound unpopular today, but people will remember me tomorrow. He said, hard time build strong men. Strong men build good time. Good time build weak men. Weak men in turn build hard time. We are in hard time in Nigeria. Our hard time is supposed to be building great and strong men. But the tragedy is that our hard time is building weak men who think that the hallmark of their living is to take solace and be looking at one artist and actress that is twerking on social media. I make bold to say, that the percentage of people, I don't want to even use social media, let's face Twitter, because either we like it or not, except if we want to lie, there are a lot of benefits of the social media. Absolutely. And I don't want us to revert to the years without it. I'm just saying that we should get to a point where we realize the most important aspects of our life. And if we fail, well, how did we get to this point? How did we even get to a president or a presidency or an administration banning Twitter? There were options before Nigerians. Of course. In 2019, there were options between Nigerians. Nigerians chose, and I'm part of them. I'm part of the Nigerians, because even if I didn't vote directly for President Buhari, people of my household, I could not convince them to vote for other people. But there were options. We took this option now. We now come and we are weeping. I repeat again that Twitter ban has not put food, or will not put food on the table of an average Nigerian.
It has taken food from somebody's table.
What is the percentage?
It has taken, it is not about the percentage.
Can I say something,
It is
please?
going to increase the number of those who do not have food on their table, which is the concern.
Can I make a point? Let him make that point. Because
let me make that point.
Yes.
Our definition of prosperity in Nigeria is faulty. Yeah. And that is why we are reasoning like this. You see, we define prosperity in Nigeria in terms of, once I can buy a car, hold on. I just use that. No, I'm just using that as an example. I'm going somewhere. Please give me 1 minute. Once I buy a car, I'm prosperous. That's an example. But the real sense of prosperity is when every one of us can take public transport conveniently. We must get to a point where we begin to define.
The government now provided this, because
we must begin to define prosperity in the collective sense of it. Social media has robbed our young men and women a lot of things, and I think we should not get to a point where we put it in the front page of our papers. There are important things. People are dying every day. People cannot go to school.
Remember that what might be important to you may not be important to someone.
Percentage. Let's bring the percentage.
Let me say this. Leave percentage. Leave percentage.
We can't leave percentage.
Wait. Let me say this. Who put the issue of Twitter on the front page? Now, Twitter deleted a message based on a call by Nigerians, because people reported the president's tweet that, see, this tweet can actually divide us in Nigeria, will cause us more harm. And Twitter responded based on their guidelines, and they did the needful at the appropriate time. Lo and behold, I've never seen where the presidency has ever reacted so swiftly to issues that affect us directly, like what the is actually talking about. Issue of insecurity, issue of poverty and all that we are facing, that is bedeviling us in this country. Presidency has never responded so swiftly to those issues the way they responded to the issue of Twitter. They called a press conference. 200 young puppies have been kidnapped. Have they called any press conference?
I think over the weekend
in Ibarapa, Igongon, lives were massacred. You just showed us now on
I think that's what we should be talking about.
The presidency, now the so-called presidency, did they call for any press conference? Did they put that on the front pages of newspapers? They are the ones that are giving us the news to feed on. It is not we. It is not Nigerians that is now taking, because the way you are putting it also is as if it is we Nigerians that we are now amplifying the issue of Twitter. No, they brought it to limelight. If Lai Mohammed and the other cohorts or his colleagues in the cabal, the so-called presidency, if they did not amplify this issue of Twitter, we will not be talking about it now. I'm truly agree with you. This is not actually the issue we should be talking about.
Right.
We should be talking about so many other, serious issues. But of course, what the government wants to do is that they want to give us a reason now to begin to discuss, because we are saying that's a distraction. So they are the ones distracting us. As a matter of fact, they are the ones distracting us with all these things. See, remember, let me take us back to a book. Yes. This man, George Orwell, wrote a book, 1984. That's where I first heard about the word Big Brother. And it's exactly what is playing out. Because that book is more like a prophetic book. Because it was written in the 1940s, and it projected that in the future, by 1984 or like now, that government will want to be micromanaging not even our actions, but our thoughts. And that's exactly what is playing out. And that's exactly the fear of Nigerians, that if the president could succeed, because we believe that after God is government, if government could succeed in banning Twitter, and not just banning Twitter, they are telling us that we should not access Twitter. Because I read again that my Malami SAN is saying that anybody that uses VPN should be
But can that really hold? Because there's no legal document.
That is even now, and as far as I'm concerned, that's even an infringement of my right.
Right. I
want a site that I can access, and you are saying that deal with Twitter. Don't deal with me. You don't have a problem with me. You have a problem with a company called Twitter. Then deal with them. See, some of these things, let me tell you the truth. Nigeria has a problem with Twitter. They took their headquarters away from Nigeria. No, all these things, they felt slighted. Now they want to attack Twitter. And that should not affect us.
That's an assumption.
They fought Twitter in 2006.
That's an assumption.
There are other social media platforms made by Nigerians that have been existing in Nigerians. Did we popularize some of these things? That was why I give kudos to Chris Oyakhilome, who when Twitter offended him somehow, the guy came up with UCOs. Can't Nigeria fund Naira Land and Co? Or can't they give all those other platforms a reason to exist?
My final thought would be, and if I want to quote a scripture, that I pray that the church will listen to what the Spirit is telling her this morning. The most important aspect of our life, Nigerians, we have left it. You work.
Just Nigerians or government?
Hold on, sir.
Calm down. Let him just
calm down, sir.
Drop his
Nigerians,
message.
we have left the most important part of our life. You are a broadcaster professional. Now, there's only one person, not Twitter, not all this one we are talking about. There's only one body that can make a policy today, and tomorrow you will be jobless. That body is government. We have left this job because of all these things that do not matter. Nigerians don't have voters card. They can't decide the destiny direction of their nation. Nigerians don't go out to vote. We only come on television.
So for you, it is for me the lesson.
If you use what you have to create a solid and good government for yourself, you will have less of argument. Thank you.
All right, that's one, Joe.
No problem. You start us into action. We will do that. We'll mobilize and dethrone unresponsive government.
No. We have to be careful with the choice of our words, because it is not, we can't be making such statements on TV right now. But the message has been given. People have to be aware. And that is what he's trying to talk about. Thank you, gentlemen. Public Affairs Analyst Dr. Wanjo and President Yewa Wari Youth Council, Abayomi Oke Asiwaju, for your time on the program.